or, and often conditional, algorithmically complex, behavioral predispositions. For this reason, while it was once possible and respectable to study psychology independent of evolutionary biology and neuroscience, those days are past, as is evident from tracing the trajectories, extending from current curricula to research publications within the major universities. There is no psychology without the brain. There is no brain divorced of biology, and there is no biology divorced of evolution and its processes. Still, and perhaps most interestingly, our evolved brain tends us toward intensely social societies that amply demonstrate flexibility, sensitivity to social norms, and our extraordinary capacity for self-reflection. For this reason, Lieberman and Patrick, the book's authors, carefully develop and explain a compelling interdisciplinary psychological model of the underlying cognitive architecture and mechanisms of disgust. The model ties together, as complementary and reciprocal, two key components. 1. The evolved superstructure, by which the emotion of disgust provides a shortcut to adaptive actions, such as avoiding pathogens, parasites, and toxins. And 2. The cultural contexts, which can co-opt disgust reactions, and even extend them into social, moral, political, and legal domains. By doing this, Lieberman and Patrick avoid, and then transcend, the musty, tired, and false dichotomies that would situate emotions and behavioral predispositions within either nature or nurture, each exclusive of the other. For, as psychologist Donald O. Hebb famously observed, just as it takes both length and width to create the area of a rectangle, it takes both genes and environment, both nature and nurture, to generate anything interesting in human capabilities. And it's when attending to these subtleties of interactions that these authors really shine. They systematically raise hypotheses, examine the evidence, and integrate the resulting interdisciplinary insights in a comprehensive way that reaches all the way to the role of disgust in law. What they find is a shared psychological architecture that is well tailored to solving avoidance problems of deep ancestral environments, but that has also been conscripted into service far from its ancestral, individual-protecting home psychological turf. Viewed in this light, that shared psychological history explains many of the dominant patterns by which laypeople, legislators, judges, and others, often across international cultures and within widespread legal systems, reflect strongly overlapping intuitions about and prescriptions against what is disgusting. In a career spanning more than 20 years working at the intersection of law and behavioral sciences, I've rarely encountered a work that bridges these two distinct fields so well. You'll likely be inspired to wonder, as I did, just how far should we trust disgust? How comfortable should we be with disgust playing, as it does, an important role in the regulation of sex, pornography, obscenity, and even zoning? Perhaps you come to that question from the starting position that disgust is indispensable to law, to be harnessed in the pursuit of valuable social ends. Or perhaps you instead see disgust as an irrational influence, more likely to lead to unsupportable and socially harmful outcomes. Either way, you will find within these pages a great deal to learn from, reflect upon, chew over, and debate. For the authors very engagingly argue that despite the psychological architecture of disgust, or perhaps especially because of it, the biasing role disgust plays in legal and political affairs should be critically re-examined and challenged. The natural origins and neurobiological mechanisms of this emotion should not be automatically privileged merely by virtue of its strength and often near ubiquity. The book makes 4 major contributions. The first is to a deeper, interdisciplinary understanding of disgust. The second is to further contextualizing, historically and biologically, the variety of core emotions, which are as much a part of our distinctive human brain